logged in here. Grab yourself a drink if you need one. I'd say it's a medium intensity class today, so not super tough, but not super laid back either. So I've got lots of different lesson plans here. I'm basically wanting to look at working on the hips and the hamstrings today, which are all really good things to help with the lower back. So I'm just going to kind of go with the flow, so to speak, and see how things go as we are moving on. So we will start actually standing up when you, let's get into position there. Sorry, my tablet needed to be rebooted, which is why this is all taking a couple more minutes than usual. But if you can get into Tadasana, which is mountain pose, that would be good. And just close your eyes and put your hands to heart center. And breathe. Good, I can see myself here now. That's all good. So, mountain pose, hands to heart center. Close the eyes, inhaling and exhaling. So let's just center ourselves on the mat, putting away what's happened this morning, trying to empty the mind a little of the chatter by focusing on the breath, inhaling and exhaling nice and slowly. Inhale, exhale. So let's be aware of our feet on the mat and lift the toes. So I suggest that your feet are hip distance apart, and keep the eyes closed if that feels right for you. Otherwise, just down gaze, sort of down your nose at the floor. So lift the toes and place the little toes down, and then the fourth, third, second and first. And then pick up the little toes and back in the order that you were. Just doing that again, picking one up at a time, forwards and back. You may end up kind of moving your hands as well. The reason we move our hands as well is because the nerves are in the same place in the head, so our brain sort of ends up connecting them. And if you can, and I'm not very good at doing this, I can do it on my right foot if you can see. You're taking the big toe down and the little toe down, and the others are staying up, and then trying to do the other way. It's a bit of a weird thing to try and think about, but the point is to just get these toes moving independently. Then still with your hands either in heart center or to your side, whatever you would prefer. Just rock forwards and backwards on the toes, on the heels. So we're just being aware of our weight on the ground. I suggest if you've got socks on that you take them off and try and feel the mat under your feet. I've got to the point where I'm not really an off shoes person. I like to wear my shoes, but I really like to do yoga in bare feet. It really helps to feel the mat, have the sensation of the ground. Okay, so we've gone forwards and back. Let's go from side to side. So being aware of ourselves, so the pivot point is the kind of ankle really, rather than, I don't know, the hips or the shoulders. And then coming back to the centre, just going a little bit forwards and a little bit back. Good. So hopefully with that, that's given us a sense of grounding on the mat. We're now going to come up onto our tiptoes. So it's helpful if your feet are hip width apart here rather than together. So we're coming really tall on hip tiptoes. Just see how that feels with the hands down to begin with. Inhale. Keep the shoulders relaxed and down as you inhale, and then exhale down. And this time we're going to float the hands up at the same time as we come up. Inhaling up. Make sure your shoulders aren't rising up, then they shouldn't be coming up towards your ears. See how that balances. So if that's tough for you, just come to a wall and gently hold on to a wall. And then come down. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. We're going to do that a few more times. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Shoulders relax and down, remember. Exhale down. One more time. Inhale up. Exhale down. Good. So another little balance. We're going to pick up one foot. So if you're going to mirror me, pick up your left leg. And we'll just have the hands out to the side and see how this feels. If you put your foot down like I did just then because I lost my balance, then that's fine. So we're literally just for now, just seeing how this feels. We'll start to feel a little bit of muscle working going on in the thigh. We're going to add a little twist to this if you're feeling up for it. So we inhale and then we twist. So if you're mirroring me, it'll be right hand over to left knee and the left hand coming around the back, and I'm looking over the left shoulder. Inhale back to the centre and then exhale, twisting the other way. Inhaling back and dropping the hands down and the knee down. I'll do that on the other side. So lifting the right foot up. So my knee is kind of up at the same height as my hips. Foot is hanging nicely. So I've got quite a lot of power going on in these thighs. Our legs are heavy. So this is quite a lot of work for us. You can bring the hands up to the side. Just see how this feels. Again, if you need to hold onto a wall with one hand, be my guest. It's not a competition. Remember, my balance is quite good generally. So we're going to go the other way now. So assuming your left hand is the one that's away from your knee, that's the one that's going to come over the knee. So inhale and exhale into the twist. The other hand comes around the back. Good. Inhaling back to the centre and exhaling, twisting the other way. Inhaling back to the centre and let them come down. Good. So a little bit more work like this. We're going to pick the left knee up again and we're circling it round. So depending on how wide you want to go, you may want to just do that with the hands outstretched, or you may want to keep it really small and just working with your hands on the knee. Whatever works for you. So we're opening out these hips. We're bringing some lubrication into the hips because we're working on hips and hamstrings today. So let's go in the other direction. And yeah, you see me stumble, lose my balance. I keep looking at different places. The trick here is to keep your gaze in one fixed location, ideally one that's not moving. Okay, so let's do that on the other leg. So we did that work on grounding, so widening the toes, really grounding that standing foot, and then circling the right knee around. So lubricating in this hip, you may feel that you can hear some clicks in the joints. Don't worry about it. Obviously, if you've got pain here, you want to take it a little bit less intensively. We don't want to work through pain, particularly sharp pain at all. But assuming you're fine with your hips, you can go nice and wide and then take them in the other direction. Good. So you're probably starting to feel this in the glutes back here, and we are wanting to work the glutes a little bit today. So I want to do a couple more things with the hips and in the standing pose. But before we do that, I want us to take a forward fold to release some of the fascia from our heels all the way up the back of the legs, up past these glutes, up the back, all the way up into the head. So fascia is that soft connective, the tissue that kind of comes around the muscles and the bones. It's like a pair of tights that's all over underneath your skin, and it needs to be gently stretched. So standing in mountain pose, tuck the chin in, hands to the side. We'll inhale, make sure these shoulders are relaxed and down, and then we tuck the chin and we exhale and we just gently roll ourselves down, And take the hands down the legs. And this is your first forward fold today, probably, certainly mine. So I've got a good 6 inches between my hands and the floor. And that's because my fascia's all tight and my hamstrings are tight and everything else is tight. But we just let gravity do its work, dropping the head down and the hands down. And gradually, this fascia is starting to release. Now, you see I've now got my fingertips on the floor. Now, if this is not feeling nice for you, particularly in the back of the legs, just bend the knees very slightly, particularly if you've got lower back issues. It can be good to just do these forward bends, particularly at the beginning with a slightly bent knee. If you're someone for whom the floor is just too far away, grab yourself a block or a cushion. And if that's as far as you can get, just take your hands onto the cushion or the block. All right. So let's see how we're feeling here now. Should be a nice gentle hamstring stretch. And what I would suggest is we gently take one knee in and then the other. So we're just loosening out the back here, letting the knees move, hips move with it. Good. So we're going to take a little twist now. I want you to take your right hand, so the left hand is either on your block or on the floor. You can have fists down if that's preferable for you. And we're going to take the right hand up, point the elbow up at the ceiling first and look up towards the ceiling. And then once you've got your shoulders stacked, so your right shoulder above the left, we'll then bring the hand up. Now the palm is facing away from you. So if you had eyes drawn on your palms, they're looking in the same direction as the eyes on your face are looking. And I've got my left shoulder above my right. And if I was a clock face, my hand would be looking at the number 12 at the top and my right hand at the bottom is at the number 6. And just look at your knees. I bet for some of you, you've got your left knee bent forwards. Try and straighten up so that the knees are parallel. Good. Inhale and then exhale that hand down. And we'll switch hands and do that the other side. Try this time to keep your knees straight. Remember to have your palm away from you. So you're looking up at your palm and your palm is facing towards that wall to the side. Keeping those knees straight. Inhale, exhale, and bring yourself down. Let's hang a couple more moments. Bend the knees very gently and gently roll yourself up. So hopefully that's released some of the lower back stuff. You might want to just do a few hip circles here. Moving from one foot to the other. Perhaps you could do the toy soldier. So you're meant to have one knee up and the other opposite hand. This is a Pilates move. Just releasing things out. Getting the heart moving a little bit. Well, obviously the heart's moving all the time, but getting it beating a little faster. Good. Standing again in Tadasana. So I want to do another little bit of work on these one leg stands. So we'll pick the left leg up again, and this time you're going to pick up that left knee with the right hand and you're going to bring that leg across the body. And I'm feeling it quite tightly in my hip flexor here. You may feel it across here. Just notice how you feel it. There's no one right or wrong way to be feeling it. If it's feeling a bit tight, maybe take it down like I did and bring it up again. And then with the other hand, we're just opening out the chest. So this is both a balance and a nice gentle stretch across these glutes and across the kind of, I don't know what this is, this muscle. Can't remember. Anyway, this muscle across here. I did do an anatomy course last year, but there's lots of muscles, you can't remember them all. And coming back down. And then we pick the right knee up. Make sure we've got our balance, and then pick up that right knee with the left hand, bringing that knee across the body, and then the right hand comes out behind us and we look back towards it. So we're doing the same stretch on the opposite side. Hold where you are, keep holding. I'm getting a little warm. So I just want to remove a layer here. Good. So bringing yourself back down into Tadasana. So nice wide feet. So I'd suggest about hip width apart. So we're going to do some of the cat-cow moves now, but in a standing pose. So what we'll do is we'll bring the chin down and we'll bring the hands forward. So if you look at me, you can see I've got a C shape in my back. I've got my knees slightly bent, so I'm really stretching out the top of the back. And then I'm coming out with my elbows pointed back, chest is out, I'm opening out across my shoulder bones here. Collarbones, aren't they? Shoulder blades are coming together at the back like this. And I'm taking a slight upward gaze. I've still got quite soft knees. And then we go in the opposite direction, perhaps softening the knees a little bit more. So I would suggest that you exhale at this point, and then you inhale as you open the chest. If you want to do it the other way, I don't mind. Just go with the breath pattern. Hold it forwards like this, interlace the fingers, straighten the hands around in front of you, and then bring the hands up above the head, straighten the knees out, and stretch really nice and tall with your hands up in the air. Try and get your arms so that they're either side of your ears. Okay, inhale, and then when you're ready, we're going to bend to one side. So it's a side bend. Nice straight arms here. And I'm looking under the arm of the uppermost arm. Don't mind which way you went. Inhale up. Stretch tall, shoulders away from ears, and exhale into the bend the other way. Inhaling and exhaling, looking under that raised arm. Inhale it back up. And take the hands down to the side. Good. Right. Just want to make a little bit of space on my mat here. So I'm going to do a little bit of warm up now on the quad muscles. So it's lunge time. So if we stand in the middle at the back of the mat, we're going to inhale. And we're going to take the foot out to the diagonal corner, all right? So I'm going to mirror you, so my right foot is straight out in front of me and the left foot is at a diagonal. The hands come behind us, so we're stretching forwards, and then we're just going to lower the chest down. And you can bring a bent knee into this as well. So you're lowering your chest down over that bent knee. And let's just hold that there for a moment and notice how this feels. So shoulders should be back away from the ears. You're probably feeling quite a lot of work in the thigh, in the left thigh, both underneath, so this is some hamstring working, and also in the glutes. And obviously you're working your quads here as well. So we'll inhale back up and bring the foot back up and come really tall, so the feet are parallel again, and then we do that on the other side. So the right foot comes out and down, we bend that knee and the hands come back, chest over that right knee. And again, notice this, perhaps you're feeling it so under this leg, you might be feeling it on the inner thigh, you might be feeling it in the quads, you might be feeling it in the glutes, all over. Inhaling back up, we'll take a little bit of speed with it now. Come to the other side. Hands up. So I suggest you exhale as you come down, inhale as you come up, exhale down, inhale up, exhale down, inhale up. handstand again. Going to take a static lunge now. And we're going to do a low lunge. So I'd like you to come down. You're going to do it on the same side as me. So come down onto your right knee. If you need to put something under the knee, a cushion or a pad of some description, then do so. And we're going to open up this hip flexor here above the right knee. So it's coming from here, sort of all that way up here, and you're probably feeling that quite tight there as you come down. Alignment wise, you want this left knee to be over the left heel or ankle. You do not want this knee coming over the toe. And we are literally just going to square the hips nice and far forwards. You can rest yourself on the knee if you'd like. And we're just gently opening this hip flexor. So hopefully that's feeling nice and kind of getting a little bit open for you. I'm going to do a little bit more work now. So I'd like you to get your abs engaged. So belly in, okay, and then bring the hands forwards. It's just a little bit more work. You're not going to be able to sort of take your weight onto these arms as you did before. And when you're ready, we're going to inhale the hands up. Now the temptation is to come up. All we're doing is bringing the hands up. We've still got this really deep stretch happening with the hip flexor. Now we often do this from a standing pose, so this is actually a lot easier than normal. Let's stretch the hands up nice and tall, and then we're going to take a twist here. So we're going to inhale, and then the right hand is going to come down over the left knee on the exhale. Exhaling down, and then the other hand comes around the back. So can you see how my shoulders are still nice and high? They're kind of above where my hips are. I'm still really low in this lunge, so I'm feeling this still very much on this hip flexor. I'm also feeling it a little bit down the back here, and obviously I'm twisting a little in the torso. Okay, so we're going to inhale back up again, and maybe this time we'll bring our hands down to the ground. Can you get them flat on the ground? I wonder. Okay, now we're going to take this foot that's forwards and wriggle it a little bit further forwards. Wriggle, wriggle, wriggle. And you may want to have blocks either side of you. I'm just going to demonstrate what I mean by that. So I'm not very good at cueing the blocks. Bricks would do, or if you happen to have a couple of house bricks around, or books. You don't need to have them at all though. So it can just be helpful to have the ground come up to meet you a little bit. So I'm basically walking this left foot forwards, forwards, and then the toe is coming up. So I'm coming into the beginnings of the splits. Now, those of you that know me know I'm not getting into the splits. Some of you, Manu for instance, will be very much lower than I am. And if you're higher than I am, that's no problem at all. The point here really is that it's getting you a really nice stretch down the back of the left leg. And then you can try to bring the toes down a little bit further, which will just deepen that stretch a little bit more. So you've got a stretch going on in the right hip flexor, and also all the way down the sort of back of the left leg. And we hold it for a few breaths to see how it feels. Then we come out of it, so we wriggle this foot back. And now we're going to go into pigeon. So the foot is coming back, and then that left foot is coming out to the side. You don't normally come to pigeon like this. So that knee is now facing forwards, and I wriggle the right foot back. So this foot can be in the groin if you prefer. We're going to go nice and low in pigeon today. So that's probably the easiest position for you. So if you need help here, so I've got my lunge, but this knee is bent and the foot is coming into the groin, or it can wriggle out to the side a little bit more. If you're familiar with pigeon, you know where you normally go with this. And where you should be feeling it is in the back of the left glute. So you can stay high like this in pigeon, or you can come a little bit lower. And your hips should be nice and square, so they're parallel with the short edge of the mat. Sorry, I just need to get a shot of some stuff on my screen here. Good. And you can come as low as having your forehead on the ground if you'd like. So this is probably the best glute stretch I can give you, this pigeon stretch. If this is too much for you because of your knees, and I'm thinking about Tim here, who's new to us, what you can do instead is reverse pigeon. So you're lying on your back like this, and you put your left foot up on the right knee, pick the right foot up, and you take your hand through that little triangle you've made here, around the back of the right thigh, and you pull back on that right thigh and let the left knee come out. So that's reverse pigeon, so that's an option. And I'm going to demonstrate another variant. I've got a stool here. I'm just going to grab that. So this is one that Nick needs to do. He knows what he's doing here. So you're sitting on a chair or a stool. You pick your left foot up, press down on the left knee, and the point here is that I'm sitting nice and tall, so I'm not slouching back into the chair. I'm sitting nice and tall, pressing down on that left knee, and you should be then feeling it in that left glute. So they're your three variations to get you a nice stretch on the left glute, particularly if your knee is a little bit tight for the standard pigeon. So you've been there quite a long time. I'm going to get you out of it. So we're down here like this. We're going to come out of this via a downward dog. So what we're going to do is take the right foot and tuck the toes right under, picking the right knee up. And that left knee is going to come back into a three-legged dog. So we're like this. I haven't got much room here. And then we'll come into our standard downward dog. And let's just hold this for a couple of breaths and see how we feel. You may feel it's a little bit different on one side to the other because you've done quite a deep glute stretch on one side but not the other. Inhaling and exhaling. Maybe walking the dog out if you'd like to. And we're going to go into our lunge position from here. So we drop the left knee down this time, and then the right foot comes forward. So there you go. You see, I'm doing a bit of a flow element in this class today. So come up with the body, with the torso. We'll check our alignment. So this knee over the ankle rather than over the toe. And we're nice and low in the hip flexor. I think I'm going to just turn around the other way, because I think it's easier for you to see what's going on if I'm this way around. So we start just nice and low with the hands. I'm just resting on this right leg. So letting the soft tissue just soften up a little bit further, letting particularly this stretch do its work. And when you're ready, you can take your hands down to the ground and see how that is feeling. So it's a little bit more intense. And then the next step is we're going to bring those hands forwards and then up. So take your time. First of all, make sure that your abs are engaged. So your belly button is pushed back or pulled back in towards the spine. And you're taking the weight off the hands and bringing them forwards. Stretching out, shoulders away from ears. Still nice and low in this forward, this lunge. Inhaling up, shoulders relaxed and down. I just need something under this knee, my left knee's a bit sore. So nice and tall here, you can look up as well if you like, so you get a little bit of a back bend in. And then we're going to take the twist. So it's left hand going over the right knee. So we'll inhale first, create lots of space in between the vertebrae, and then we exhale into the twist, looking over the right shoulder, and this right hand comes right back. So it helps to pull the shoulder back. And we're looking back over that shoulder. Inhaling and exhaling, of course. We don't normally hold our breath in these sorts of postures. If you do enjoy some of the breathing stuff, do look back at the class that I did on Saturday, the pranayama class. I loved teaching it. Some lovely, lovely things in there. Karen messaged afterwards saying she got to 2 minutes easily with holding her breath at the end of it, which was awesome. But even if you don't want to do the breath holds, there's some lovely breath work to be done in there. And I'm going to do some breath work at the end of the class today as well. Alright, we're going to inhale up. Bringing the hands forward again. So this is where we wriggle the right foot forwards. I need to come back on my mat a little bit because I've only got a wall to go into. So if you want to have your blocks, just have them handy. Wriggle that foot forwards, forwards, forwards. So we're coming into this kind of splits onto that heel. Dropping that leg down as low as it will go, and then dropping the right toe down as far as that will go. So you don't have to be on blocks, I just think it's a bit more comfortable. Inhaling and exhaling. Toes down. We're trying to hold this for a similar amount of time, so where we hold it on the other side. And then we're going to go into pigeons. So wriggle that foot forwards. There's no wonder my mat is always wriggled up. Wriggled? What's the word? When it's got a lump in it. Oh gosh, I can't remember my brain. Right, so this foot is coming either out to the side or in towards the groin. So it's like that. So it's you're folded over at the knee, heel either into the groin, and then you can come down into pigeon, or that foot can come out to the side. Just work so that you are feeling this in your right glute. So again, you can do this on your back in that reverse pigeon. It's a sort of figure 4 stretch if you want to, or you can get a chair and put the right knee out to the side, right foot over the left knee, pushing down with your hands on the right knee. So I'm going to give you plenty of time to do that because we held pigeon for quite a long time last time while I demonstrated those poses. So plenty of time. Just going to have a look at some of the notes. Breathe into this. You know, it's quite a tough little stretch. You'll grow to love it, believe me. Make sure again that those hips are nice and square with the short edge of the mat. Alright, now so we're going to come out of this. Now I know we came out of it previously through a downward dog. We're not going to do that this time because I want us to stay seated. So just sit back on your sitting bones. Lots can go away. Right. If you know you like to have something under your bottom when you're seated, just pop that there. Ideally a block if you need to have quite a lot of height. And we are going to have the feet nice and wide like that. So the reason I like to have something to sit on is that it means that you sit up a little bit more straight and your hips are forwards. Let me just show you how it works with a block. This is my dog chewed block. So I'll put the non-chewed bit, and I tend to sort of perch just on the bottom of it, just on that sort of corner edge, and that feels quite comfortable for me. My feet are outstretched like this. So let's just see how our posture is. So tuck the chin in, ears above, shoulders above hips. It's becoming one of my mantras, isn't it? Okay, so, and the toes should be pointing upwards. And we're going to do the stir the porridge. So interlace the fingers, and we're going to stir the porridge around like this. And then we'll stir in the opposite direction. So you'll probably be feeling this in some of the muscles that we've worked already. So you may well be feeling it in the hamstrings, or sorry, the hip flexors, and also in the hamstrings. These quads are obviously engaged. And when your feet keep doing it, when your feet are active like this, it's really engaging these quads, which is allowing all of this to loosen up. So that's why we want the feet engaged. Good. All right. Now let's see how we are with a fold forwards like this. So keep these legs engaged. Inhale the hands up, shoulder blades away, and we're just going to hinge ourselves forwards and see if we can get to the feet. So I'm trying to keep my back fairly straight here because I'm looking up. So it's not about getting your nose to the floor at all. You may just get to the ankles, or you may get to the feet, whatever, and then you can drop the head down. Inhaling up. We will now take our mirror use. So bring your left foot in towards the groin. Okay, so you're sitting like this. So the left knee is coming down. We'll inhale our body round, so the shoulders are facing that upturned foot, which is still nice and active. Inhaling up again. And then we hinge down and come towards the foot. Now, I can take the bind around the foot. Some of you can take the bind around the entire foot. I'm just going to my toes today. Some of you will just be at the tops of your shins or to your ankles. If you've got a strap and you want to put the strap over the ball of the foot and hold onto the strap, you can do so. And what I want you to do is just to try and be really square here. So the temptation is to just put the easy hand down, the right hand down. So I want you to get square first, inhale up, and exhale yourself, hinging forwards, so that the right hand and the left hand are sort of equal over this. It'll be easier on your right hand, but I'd rather that you were square. It means that you can't go as deep round in that bind, but that's not the point. We like to keep nice and square here. And then you can drop your nose towards your knee if you'd like. Good. Bringing the hands up to be sitting tall again. We're going to take a side stretch now. So I'll take my left hand down, coming down onto that left knee and lifting the hips up, and then the hands up. Either above you, or if you've got space, which I haven't, the hands can be pushing away from the head. So you've got this sort of arrow. Let me show you so I'm a bit squarer, like so. It's a lovely stretch across this top side of the body, looking under the arm, or straight out ahead, I don't mind. Good, dropping the bottom back down, and we'll switch around the other way. So the left leg is going to come out, the right foot is into the groin. Make sure you're propping yourself up a bit if you need to. Okay, so active toes, so they're pointing up at the ceiling. Inhale the shoulders around to look at those toes. Exhale again. Inhale the hands up. Keep the toes active and hinging forwards. Now you may not get as far on one side as the other, or you may get further on this side. But again, I want you to try and be square with the shoulders. So the temptation will be to do this. You want to bring both hands down nice and square. So again, if you're on your calves, your shins, the knee, floor either side, don't mind. Just go as far as is comfortable for you. And as you settle, you may find that you can go a little bit further. That's particularly easier if you've got a strap, so you can walk your way down the strap. So try and inhale, and then with the exhale, soften a little deeper. Go nice and low, nice and soft. Good. Rolling the hands back up so you're sitting tall. And now we're going to take that side stretch on the other side. So the right knee is going to come down onto the floor. The right hand is coming to the floor. My left leg I'm just going to let come back so that I can stretch out to the side. So the ideal is that you're stretching that way. If you haven't got the room, you could stretch up above. Ideally, you've got your fingers in one direction and there's a straight line down from your fingers down to your toes. So a nice stretch here. And sitting back down again. Good. Let's bring our soles of our feet together, and we'll just bring the knees up and down. So I've got my hands around the ankles and I'm just gently letting the knees come down. I'm still perched on the edge of my block, or you could be sitting fully on the block. If your knees tend to be up here and that's as low as you can get, I'd suggest that you need 2 or 3 blocks. The idea is that you get the knees as low towards the ground as you can. Okay, and you can flap them a little bit. Okay, and then perhaps taking the hands around the toes, letting the elbows come out, and you're pulling up with the toes, but the toes are resisting that pressure. You're gradually bringing your shoulders down, and what this is doing is really stretching out these muscles sort of inner part of the tops of the legs, adductors. And again, as things soften, inhale and soften down a little bit for deeper into that lovely stretch. Good. So back to the feet being out either side. Really, really nice and wide here. And we're going to do a seated side straddle pose now. So nice and tall. You are going to bring your right hand up and your left hand is going to come down towards that leg. So I'm just hinging myself down, trying to get as low as I can, so the stretch is coming all the way up this side. Inhaling up, maybe shaking those knees a little if you need to. Left hand comes up, right hand comes down, and then the left hand comes down towards that. So I'm not going into a forward fold like we did before. This is a side stretch and I'm looking under that raised arm. So I'm really trying to open these shoulders out, this sort of collarbone area out. In here. Inhaling up and down. Good. Let's come into cross-legged. We'll Do some nice gentle circles here. And then circle the other way. Obviously, if your knees aren't great and you need to have your feet further in front of you, that's fine as well. All right, so let's sit nice and tall now, inhaling the hands up, and then we're going to hinge ourselves down, keeping the sitting bones on the floor and walking the fingers forward. So I'll just come a little bit further back on my mat so you can see what's going on here. And to the other side, keeping nice and low with the head, feeling that stretch, probably in the opposite glute to where your hands are. But you may be feeling it in different areas as well. Different people feel it differently depending on where they're tight. Good. Walking back to the centre and making our way back up again. So I feel we've done quite a lot. There's quite a lot of intensity there. So we've done particularly a lot of work on the glutes and the hamstrings. If you want to do a little bit more work on the hamstrings and you've got a yoga strap, after the class I suggest you lie on your mat and you take one leg up, the kitchen tea cloth or your yoga strap around the foot and pull back. So that's some homework that you can do if you'd like. But I wanted to make some time in this class for doing some alternate nostril breathing because we didn't have time for it in the pranayama class on Saturday, as I promised that I would do it during the week. So if you could sit in a comfortable position, so that may be cross-legged for you, or it may be with your feet in front. For me, it's sitting on the bolster in hero pose, so whatever is comfortable for you. So, to be honest, if you'd rather just sit with your back to the wall, that's fine. The point here is that we're going to get ourselves into a nice meditative state through doing some breathing. If you need to blow your nose, hits, but it might feel a bit weird for you. If it does, just go with the flow with it, you know, it's fine. Oh, am I still recording? Yeah, we appear to still be recording. Okay, so place your left hand on your left knee. Lift your right hand up towards the nose. All right, and what we do is we close one side of the nose with the thumb and the other side with probably your ring finger, like that. All right, so bringing that hand up and just seeing how that feels. Just gently place the hands onto the nose. Sorry, I'm just feeling that this is not working. Okay. Maybe it's just my internet's gone a bit weird. So, sorry about that. Alright, so I'd like you to exhale completely. Then use your right thumb to close the right nostril. Inhale through the left nostril. Close the left nostril with your fingers, open with the thumb on the right and exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Close the right and exhale through the left. Inhale through the left. Close the left, open the right and exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Close the right, exhale left. Inhale left. Close, exhale right. Inhale right. Close, exhale left. Inhale left. Close, exhale right. Inhale right. Close, exhale left. Now I'm going to leave you to try and do that by yourself. Inhale left, close, exhale right. Keep working with that pattern. When you're ready, you can take your hand away and return to your natural breathing. Hopefully feeling a little bit more grounded than you were before the breath work. I'm going to just leave you a couple of moments to sit, breathing as deeply as you'd like, and just be still. And you can either stay in the position that you are, or if you'd like to move to lying on the ground in Shavasana, you can do so. I'm just going to guide you through relaxing different parts of your body. So make yourself comfortable, perhaps put something under your head, under your knees, close the eyes. If you're sitting, perhaps have the hands open in your lap. If you're lying on the ground, have the fingertips without touching anything so that the palms are facing upwards. And as I speak each body part, I just want you to think about relaxing it, letting the tension go from it. So we'll start with the toes. Relaxing the toe joints. Relaxing the inner parts of the foot, the outer parts of the foot. The heel, letting the heel relax and soften into the ground. Moving to your ankles, letting that joint relax there. And coming up through your shins and calves, letting them be heavy, weighing down. Coming to the knees, if you need to tension and then release them to help you relax, that's fine. Otherwise you can just imagine it and just let them relax down. Coming up through your legs, so the top of the legs, the bottom of the legs, the thighs, inner thighs. Letting them all relax as you move up to the hips. Being aware of all the weight in your pelvis and letting it sink into the ground. Relaxing, taking tension away from all those joints in and around the hips and moving up towards the spine. Letting the spine just relax down into the ground. Moving up the spine, lower part of the back to the upper part of the back. Meeting the shoulder blades, letting the shoulder blades relax down into the ground. Then being aware of your fingers, your finger joints, going into the hands, lots of bones, Lots of soft tissue. Relax your hands. Then your wrists. They're touching the ground, just let them relax. Moving up the forearms, relaxing the forearms, relaxing the elbow joints. Then coming up the arms, triceps and biceps, relaxing them. Relaxing the armpits. Being aware of the outer edges of the shoulders, relaxing them down. Coming to the neck, relax the back of the neck. Relax the front of the neck, coming up to the jaw, relax the jaw. Relax the cheeks, the lips, the nose, the cheekbones. Relax the tongue inside your mouth. Relax your ears, the back of the head, the top of the head, the forehead. Relax the eyes. Think about relaxing the corners of the eyes. Think about if you have any tension in your forehead between the eyebrows. Smooth it out, relax it. Be aware of the weight of the whole of your head. Relax your head. Relax your shoulders. Relax your hips. Relax your feet. Relax your hands. If you'd like, you're very welcome to just stay in that position for another few minutes or another hour if you'd like. But if you'd like to finish the class with me, just come back into a seated position. So wriggle around and stretch as much as you need to bring a little bit more movement back. I'm going to keep it really quiet if you're continuing to lie. But if you're with me and you're seated now, we'll just bring the hands just open one time, inhaling the hands up above the head, closing the palms together above the head into that prayer pose, exhaling the hands down to heart center. We'll then bow the head towards the heart, and I'll say namaste to you. You're welcome to say namaste to each other as well. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll be back on Thursday at 12, and obviously you've got all the classes to do as catch up if you'd like as well. I would suggest looking at that breathing class if you missed it on Saturday. It's a goodie. It's really, really good to spend some time breathing. Have a lovely rest of the week. See you on Thursday.